Welcome back to our channel. As Nigerians will be going in for another round of governorship election by November 11 precisely. We know that in Imo State, Bayelsa and also Kogi elections will be taking place. Ijaw youth have sent a strong message to INEC over the issue of transmitting of election result. Everything that we have seen thus far in Nigeria in terms of the fraud in election is traceable to, it all began with INEC. A lot of loopholes that we saw in INEC brought about this. But first of all, before we go into further discussion, let's just look at what Ijaw Youth said. According to the information made available to us, the Ijaw Youth Council (IYC), an umbrella body for all Ijaw youths, has warned the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) against adopting manual transmission of November 11 Bayelsa State governorship election result. The president of the council, Theophilus Alaye, gave the warning while reacting to a recent report credited to Bayelsa State Resident Electoral Commissioner Young Efama. He urged INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu to call Bayelsa REC to order. Alaye argued that adopting manual collation of results will worsen the integrity of the commission in the conduct of the forthcoming off-season governorship election. The IYC president also wondered why the REC was desperate to adopt manual collation of results even when there were no challenges recorded in Bayelsa State during the last presidential, national, and state House of Assembly elections. In its write-up, the group wrote this. They said, "We enjoin the INEC chairman to prevail on Bayelsa State REC to ensure that the Bayelsa November governorship election is conducted in line with the electoral guideline by adopting the mode of electronic transmission of results. The INEC chairman should understand that manual transmission of results in the Bayelsa governorship election will confirm the suspicion by many people that he has a brief to work for a political party which will plunge the state into avoidable crisis. Bayelsa State over time has experienced and recorded a high level of violence except for the last presidential and state House of Assembly election, which was as a result of application of the BVAs and electronic transmission of results from the polling units. Hence, it is a prayer of IYC to see a violence-free election in Bayelsa State. Wow, this is another season, call it off-season elections, and it will be happening in November 11. And with what the REC had said, I don't know what's really happening, because the first thing here that I want to point out is that the culture of fraud has already been established. And unfortunately, PEPC was the ideal place that issue would have been addressed, being that INEC, when they kickstarted this whole thing of 2023 election, they had promised Nigerians that all results will be via electronic transmission. And we've watched in several videos where the governor, where the chairman of INEC made Nigerians to know that whatever that will happen, they give us that promise. And Buhari pushed in billions of naira, I think 300 billion naira or so, to make sure that that was made perfect. That's everything was perfected. Excellent transmission will take place. But all of a sudden, it happened. Now the case was dragged to the court, and we heard what the court said, that there was no provision anyway, that everything must be done electronically, that it can be manually collated, blah blah blah. They said a lot of things which has made Nigeria, to be this way. And I feel that with some of the things that have happened thus far, if we really want the country to enjoy that level of, peace, and also reduction in people finishing election and running to the court to decide who won the election, we need to perfect this electronic thing. And I think that this letter that these youths have sent across, to INEC chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, it should be something that he should do everything possible to ensure that the electronic transmission of result is possible. Reason being that already he has a negative stamp on his work life over what happened in the presidential election. People do not believe him again. And I can assure you that in the next election, if Mahmoud still remain the chairman of the INEC, the level of participation will reduce to 50%. That's if we consider how many people partook in electioneering process or the election. If we look at it, it will be reduced by at least 50% because at that point, Nigerians will say, what's the need? No matter the promise you give to them, they're not going to care, because already there was something you told us and we held you by your word. Unfortunately, you were not bound by your word and you were bold enough to still go to court and say, so what is it? This was that, and this had happened, cliches here and there. And even the way you got your services from, web services from, they said there was nothing like that. It didn't happen. So why did it fail? So all of that will stand against INEC when the coming election comes up. So I think that what um, IYC has given to INEC is another opportunity to sanitize or at least help write off that mindset of Nigerians that there's nothing good about INEC. Because if you've been listening to several discussions that we've heard thus far, one lawyer said, all these issues that we are having is because of the loopholes that is in INEC. Imagine if, when Bala Tinubu came on board and said he was going for presidency, INEC queried a lot of things that he brought up. Please, let us see your this, let us see your this, let us see your this, let us see your document, do what they're supposed to do. I mean, all of this wouldn't have happened, you understand? But everybody allow it to be like that. And here we are, back and forth every day, instead of the government, planning for the future of the country. We are busy, washing our dirty linens outside. This is absolutely wrong. I feel that an opportunity has presented itself again for INEC to correct, the impression that the people have already built around it, that it cannot carry out anything free of fraud. So whoever that had the rake, I think one of young father who had said that, at least that thing should be fixed so that at the end of the day, we can look at, INEC as a repentant agency that is ready for the future of Nigeria. And also to add to this, don't forget that Temere Silva, who is the APC gubernatorial candidate for the upcoming Bayelsa State election, has been disqualified by the court. I don't know if he's going to proceed to the Supreme Court to get his this thing, get back his mandate. Because if he doesn't do that, we have very few days to go. Already, we have less than a month, or let me say, full 1 month to go. So it's important for him to do it so that APC do not miss out in this whole stuff. That's what we like to leave it. What's your take on what the IYC-Ijaw Youth Council have said concerning the need for there to be, electronic transmission of